This is Gary Sheffield Jr., and you are watching the Moneyball channel.
I have Mr. Gary Sheffield Jr. joining me. How are you tonight, fam?
I'm good, man. My Yankees are getting punched in the teeth, but it's nice to have the day off and come hang out.
You
What's
know,
up?
your Yankees are getting punched in the teeth. I got to
Yeah.
tell you something. Buffalo, obviously being about 2 hours from Toronto. COVID came. Buffalo Bisons, who are their
Yeah.
affiliate team, right? We got to watch Major League Baseball that whole season in Buffalo. It was phenomenal. I'm actually doing a little documentary on it. The whole season, which was a shortened season, but we had baseball in Buffalo, Gary, and it was phenomenal. It was like, we that's a treat. We don't have that. And what was cool too, it was so intimate. And I've kind of become a bit of a Jays fan. Ernie Clement's a buddy. He's been killing it. Davis Schneider. They have a couple good guys up in the that are up and coming. Charles McAdoo is a great player coming up. Who's my other guy? Barger. I had Addison on. So like these guys are super likable, and I hate to say it to you. I see the Yankee stuff in the background. I know what you do, man. You're the host of Yankees Unloaded, co-host, but the Blue Jays are fun to watch. They're a fun team.
They are.
You can't discount that, right?
No, honestly, I think the Yankees are more of built for the regular season. We're going to play 162 games. More times than not, you're going to face the 3 through 5 starters. We're going to score 10 runs.
Yeah.
But when the Yankees face good pitching, they're not fun to watch.
No.
They're not. They're trying to hit home runs, which, I mean, we've seen like Stanton hit a bunch of home runs in October before. We're watching Judge right now is hitting 444. There's people complaining because he's not slugging.
100%.
It's like the Yankees, their problem isn't the fact that they're not slugging in October. It's that they don't hit for average in October. They can't scramble at bats. They can't work counts. And I know that they look at the regular season and say, well, Grisham walked a ton. His chase rate was amazing. 100th percentile is best in baseball. But everyone in their lineup, it's basically about six out of the 9 guys. They're trying to hit home runs. Like Jazz Chisholm was chasing 30-30 seasons. That's not the type of player that's going to make adjustments. But when you look at the Jays, who do I want to watch in October? I want to watch someone that puts the ball in play. Somebody man on third base, less than 2 outs. Like they'll just put the ball in play and give up their at bat for the sake of the team. The Yankees just don't do that, and I think it's showing.
You are spot on, man. That's very, very well said. That's a very cerebral take. And I'll be honest with you, they'll lay down a bunt. They sacrifice anything and everything to just move a guy over, forget the run.
Anything.
You know what I mean? And you have guys, like Ernie, my boy out in the outfield there this year, who has been quietly very successful. Now, of course, I'll blank on his name. Who's the guy I'm thinking of out in the outfield for him?
But I mean, even George Springer is of the same cut, right? It's like he's a power guy. He can hit for power, but we saw him do it in Houston. We see him do it in Toronto. Bo, I know he's out for the series or he's trying to work his way back. He puts the ball in play. Kirk is putting the ball in play. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. puts the ball in play, and you cannot win. You have to love it.
His bat, right? The dude's 5'6".
I don't know how. I don't know how, man.
I watch him warm up. I watch him run around. Me and my boys will go and my sons, and we always look for Kirk, right? And it's just like we'll watch him and just get entertainment just from watching him run around. It's truly phenomenal. Like Altuve is a midget. He's just a little tiny dude. He's a miniature that can somehow crush. Vladdy has been consistent. Where I think your Yankees, the point I'll argue with you a little bit there is the expectations. It's almost like the Yankees are trying to appease fans more than they are win a World Series. And I know that sounds so crazy, but like these guys going up and just slugging their brains out, man, you have to play some small ball in the playoffs to win. You just have to. And guys can do it on that team. It's like they choose not to. You could say Boone or you could say them, but they choose not to. Speaking of Boone, all right, you're in a little hot water. Not so much hot water. But your comments were pretty publicly known, right? I mean, I looked you up today and it was boom, former MLB star son blasts Boone, right? And I look at it and I'm like, okay, pretty honest comments. I mean, you're being pretty transparent, pretty forthcoming. It was your opinion. I don't think you trashed it, right? Fried, I'm a big fan of Max Fried and everything he's about. Tell me, I guess, because I guess I heard it somewhat contradicted.
No, Fried had to come out the game.
Okay.
Had to.
So
he had to come out the game. There were a lot of people criticizing Aaron Boone taking out Fried, not necessarily taking him out, but putting in Will Warren. And I'm sitting there thinking, I said it in my post-game show, what did you want him to do? His expectations is we paid this guy, right? Our GM paid this guy, and he expects this to work out. I mean, you don't sign a player that's supposed to be your ace, hand him the baseball in game 2 of the division series and say, all right, what do I do if this goes haywire? you're expecting him to pitch well.
Correct.
And
That's a
I
good
think
point.
that's what Boone's expectation was. And once you see, oh, he's getting lit up, and you look across the way at Trey Savage, a young stud, well, why should I go to my high leverage guys out the bullpen? So people were upset that Will Warren was getting shelled and gives up the grand slam to Vladdy Jr. I'm like, well, if Aaron Boone burnt his bullpen in game 2,
Right.
you get the day off, you'd be pissed that Aaron Boone's going to those guys, even in a loss. It was going to be a loss anyways. Trey Savage was quite literally only pulled because Warren went out there and gave up runs. And if he didn't give up runs and you go to Bednar and whoever else and keep the game close, Savage goes longer and the game's still over. So I thought Boone did fine in that game. That's on the players.
What do you think of platooning guys for pitching? And like, what would your approach be? Obviously, you know, now we're switching. There's a lot of pressure and everything else here. I mean, it's go home type situation. How would you handle pitching the next game if you're the manager?
Well, I just think right now you have to look at it and say, well, you're saying with Rodon, right?
With Rodon, how long, you know, I guess, yes. I mean, because he's got to be the guy. There's no choice. And he's due up
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah. So Rodon's slated to start the game.
Yeah.
My expectation is that you paid him all this money. Your expectation should be high. You've got to keep him in the game, but I'm sure the way the Yankees look at it, we didn't burn any of our top guys. Devin Williams didn't pitch, right? They're expecting Bednar to pitch. You've got the day off. If he's in trouble at all and this game's close, Aaron Boone's shown throughout history, I'm going to go to my bullpen and I'm going to go to the guys that I'm comfortable with. So that's my expectation. And people are going to criticize it unless it works. That's just the nature of this business and the job that he accepted. I try and be fair to Aaron Boone. I know people only talk about the negative things I say about Boone because, I mean, those are the only ones that click. I mean, but at the same time, when you pay players a lot of money to do a job and they don't do it at all, and now you're doing damage control in the middle of a postseason series, you're not winning that series. So it's up to the players to do their job.
It absolutely is. And that's a great point. It puts a manager in such a tough situation too when, you know, you go out and perform like Fried. And what's kind of wild, man, he's been standing on business, man. He's been lights out. Like Fried has been phenomenal. This year with the Yankees is what us as Braves fans have wanted every year. He's been good. He hasn't been great. And this year with the Yankees, he was great, you know? And I honestly, man, that's especially now with him being a little older, he's 31 years old. I did not expect that. And what do you think attributes to that? I mean, he's been in high pressure situations before, so I don't think it was that. It's almost like the Jays, you know, you talk about preparation with football or a week preparation or whatever, right? And it's like it's like there was somebody banging a garbage can on the back there. Like it's like they knew what was coming, right? What do you think attributed to him just getting smoked like that?
Well, first of all, I talked to Will Middlebrooks this morning about this, and I can tell you, we were talking about the velocity, right? And when you look up and see, you turn on a game in June, July, and March, late March, and you say, what is Max Fried, who was great all year, by the way? He had a blister in the middle of the year. He was struggled just a little bit there. But for the most part, he was electric, right? You look up and see his velocity. It's 94, 95. That's where he was comfortable. And then all of a sudden you see in the first and second inning of that game, you see 98, 99. And the broadcast will tell you, well, he's clearly revving up his fastball here. It means he doesn't trust his other stuff. And then sure enough, the changeup isn't sharp. The slider's not sharp, no depth to it. The slider's actually uptick in terms of velocity. There's no reason to change what you're doing. Like when you look at Blake Snell, who was awesome today. Like I was just watching that start, right? You're seeing Luzardo. When you look at the velocities and the stuff and the location, they're not trying to do something different than what they were doing during the pennant race. But Max Fried is right. You have to trust yourself. That's just part of the business. And when you show up and now you're throwing 99, when you used to throw 95, something has already changed. So I get it. You're amped up for the game. Glasnow was saying in an interview during Snell's start, you get hyped up and there's no way to simulate this. But at the same time, like part of this job is managing those expectations and managing your emotions. And I don't think he does it well. Not yet.
Let me ask you a question. A couple of guys I had on last year and early when I was down at spring training and I was, you know, chopping it up with some of the guys. Connolly early, you know, became a buddy, and Peyton Tolley. And these guys got their shot, you know, this year, a month and a half ago. Tolley came up first. His first game, he went crazy. 8 strikeouts, pitched 5 innings, you know, looked like the next who's a real big build guy like that, you know, 6'6". He looked like the next of whoever that would be, Bartolo Colon, maybe, right?
Right. Yeah.
And, you know, and then Connolly came in and His first start, he had 11 strikeouts, which tied a rookie record, and he was just off the charts good. And they're such good guys, both of them, man. I was so happy to see it. And then you see both of them, start 2, start 3, start 4, and everything changes. Now, I asked a few guys that played, and they said, again, we'll go back to that kind of that film, that research. Maybe I don't give baseball players enough credit for going and watching the film. Because to me, if you look at the results of his second, third, fourth, fifth game, everything's on. They're not the same pitcher. And it almost looks timing wise, right, that guys have caught on to him. Do you think there's some relevance to that?
Honestly, I wouldn't say so. I just think that when you're a young player, what makes these guys big leaguers as opposed to the guys in the minor leagues is just the adjustments that they make, man. I mean, you saw with Mike Trout when he first showed up to the big leagues, he was just hammering pitches down in the zone. Now, at that time, no one had a clue. No one else in the big leagues is sitting on pitches at the bottom of the zone. But he was, right? That's just like his sweet spot. Then all of a sudden, Mike Trout had to adjust. Oh, fastball's up. He can't touch it. Right. But what makes him so great is the adjustment right back. And now it creates this Hall of Fame trajectory. Same thing with Early, right? Same thing with these other players. They're going to figure you out. It's only a matter of time, but it's just what you do after that. So you're going to see it with Cam Schlittler, obviously, who's a Yankee right now. They're going to make adjustments to what he does, right? He got rid of the slider. He's going to the cutter, less loop to that pitch, less hang. And then you see the sinker, which he literally just unveiled in that postseason game you watched against the Red Sox. So it's a new pitch. You've never seen it before. That's how quick these guys make adjustments. So I have no doubt, especially early, that kid's going to be a stud. I see a lot of Cliff Lee in him, and you saw the mentality. He wasn't scared to lick, not at all.
And that's what really separates them too. You're right. I could literally sit and talk baseball with you for 6 hours, but I want to get into Gary Sheffield Jr., the man, a little bit. Cool. Are you firstborn? Are you your father's firstborn son?
I am, yeah.
Okay, which, the Gary Sheffield Jr. From what I researched, there, you got a few brothers, few sisters. I think you have, is it Noah that's playing right now?
Yeah, Noah and Christian.
Okay.
And then I have a brother, Garrett, as well, who also plays. Noah's at Florida State now.
Okay. You got to be a proud big bro, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, actually, what's really funny about it is my brother Noah had no idea that I committed to Florida State years ago. I didn't get a chance to go. Yeah, I got hurt and didn't go. But I mean,
listen, you've been asked a million times what it's like, in the limelight of Gary Sheffield and all of that other stuff. I already know these answers for the most part, man, but I'll ask you a couple that I think might be a little bit unique.
Okay.
What were their negative? Like, so for example, right? And people are cruel. People are just jerks in general. There's good people in this world that try to be really genuine, good human beings. I like to think I'm one of them. I think you're one of them. Was there cruelty ever growing up? Like people who hated the Yankees or the Marlins or whatever team he was on, or what are some of the negatives, right? Because everybody talks about how cool it must have been to be a player's son. And I know it's all not rainbows and sunshine either, but what were some of the negatives about it?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think a lot of it is that when you're an athlete's kid or just a famous person's child, I think the expectation is that, this person must be everything that must be happening in a positive way. It must be just they started there, right? Like this person started on third base. If they start a YouTube show, the show just started off with 10,000 subscribers and 10,000 people who listen every night. And I think one thing that all of us have in common, I don't care who you are, is we're trying to figure out what our purpose is. We all have different purpose in the world, and everyone wants to figure out what that is, what they want to do with their life. And when you finally go out there and figure out what do I want to do, and you do it successfully, you want people to recognize what that is. I think that that's like pretty commonplace. But when you're no longer controllable in the media market, and I've seen this firsthand, if people can't control the words that come out of your mouth or how you use your platform, they suddenly want to be the first person to tell you that you're not successful or you don't actually have any path in this business or whatever you're trying to do. So it's been something that I've learned throughout the years. I need to ignore this. It's not to respond, right? Because my first instinct was, especially people who I found to be important in the industry, wherever industry it was, if somebody that I thought was important were saying something that was really taking credit away from what I was doing, I felt the need to really respond and answer those questions. But I've learned throughout time, it's just to shut up and just work anyways, and those people will just go away.
It's a maturation process, isn't it? And you're 31, I'm 47. It's like You speak very well for 31. Your cerebral integrity is on point, dude, right? I can tell that
Thank you.
well, I can tell also that you take what you do you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
Do you feel at this point this is kind of your go-to? Like this is what you are meant to be doing at this point?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I definitely think that because I mean, when we started Yankees Unloaded, I told my partner the first day, I mean, even before we started our first episode, I said, my plan, we're going to make Yankees Unloaded. This show's going to work, and it has. But I said, what we're going to do is I'm going to do Sports Unloaded, where eventually we start hiring people to cover, that individual team. And then people always say, why do I turn on Sports Center? And they only talk about the Yankees. They only talk about what the Cowboys did this
Right,
week.
right.
And there's not really an in-depth coverage of my favorite team, the Pirates. Where's the in-depth coverage of that team? And I thought to myself, I think there could be a niche there that we can slide into just somewhere down the road. I think this is my calling.
It's going to be show and prove. I think your success will speak for itself and you'll break the mold. Today's world, man, politics is a tough one.
It
And
is.
regardless of it's almost like people are afraid to mention what side of the fence they're on, right? And I'll have been doing a show and say someone says something on it, right? Because whoever your guest is might not really have that hesitancy. They're already established. Johnny Damon, for example, he's
Right.
on Fox News a few times a week. He's a contributor. He's a strong believer in the way he feels. I love him
Right.
for that. No, there's no apologies. But he's also been there, done that, right? I mean, he's also someone who has a couple World Series rings. He's a multi.
Yes.
So it's different in that regard too. If I'm sitting in that,
Can't really take anything away from, I mean, there's not really anything you can take away from a Johnny Damon. It's like, what are you going to do now? You're going to go into his pocket and take his money away. He doesn't need any sponsorship. But when you're entering into the space,
correct,
and you're doing those type of gigs, like if you hop onto a Fox News or you hop onto CNN, whatever it is, and you hop on and say, I'm going to do this gig to make my 5K a year, like you're doing your entry level job, it can be taken away. So it almost puts you in this field like you have to be performative. It's a little ridiculous.
the podcasting world, or for a long time I wanted to avoid the word podcast. When I started
Mhm.
my show, I wanted it to be a channel, a show, a channel, a station, anything
I
but
love that.
podcast. I really,
Yeah.
and as it's progressed and 20,000 plus subscribers, like you almost have to define it that way, right? And I'm getting more involved with like the Apple and the podcast end of
Mhm.
things. And that was like really exciting, because to have the ability to do both. How many people do you have, or if you've experienced this, where you say, "Oh man, check out my show," and they say, "Oh, I don't have time to watch it. I don't have time to watch it." Like,
I've definitely had it. So our show is long form. So I mean, it's gonna look very similar to like a Joe Rogan style 2.5 hour show. We do
yeah,
that show after every Yankees game.
do you
We
really?
get comments. Yeah, every single game. We did 162 shows
At
and
2 hours?
2 hours long.
That's bold, man. That's
Yeah.
wow.
And I told my partner, I was like, we're going to do this. And what we're going to do is try to get, it's going to be a slower burn. It's not going to be like a 9 minute episode and then
Yeah,
you get those subscribers, because those subscribers aren't really investing too much of their time to even be a
no,
part of your channel. But if somebody subscribes to you and you made a 2 hour and 20 minute episode and they left a comment after the video and were like, oh, this was really funny what you
there
said
you go.
in an hour and 53,
Now you got it. Now you
that
got the recipe.
person isn't going anywhere.
Going back into you and your baseball days, right? Now, I heard you say something which I really liked, and it was what we get from our parents, that we're almost, you know, adherently like, okay, this is what we have to do because this is what we're being taught. And I
Yeah.
stopped for a minute. When you said that, I stopped for a minute and I said, would my sons be sports, or what might they be doing had dad not be so? I mean, I'm a sports fanatic, right? And all the way to,
Right.
I love tennis, like right down to the US Open tennis, everything. And I want my youngest, my 5-year-old, to play tennis now that I've been in the travel hockey and travel baseball scene. I want him to stay away, right? And parents are ruining sports for kids. I'll come straight
Yeah.
out and say that. And I think though you're absolutely right. Like think about, with no influence at all, what would our kids be doing?
It is interesting because now, especially, I would say especially when it comes to AAU basketball, Little League baseball, there are a lot of parents who really are using their kids as extensions of themselves, right? You could have a dad
That
who
funny.
was
Yep.
cut from their varsity baseball team. They were really good in JV, cut from varsity in junior year. They tried out again senior year. They were cut again, never made it. They have twin boys, and all of a sudden now their sons are in little league, and they think it's a chance to redo that. To oh, if I was just an infielder instead of playing corner outfielder, if I trained harder at 10 to 12, I could have been the star. In actuality, sports aren't that important. They're just not. So the most important thing is being a parent and just supporting whichever way your kids go. Is it all right to tell your kid, hey, I would love if you would try baseball? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Oh, of
Like,
course. Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with my dad played baseball. So now I'm like, it turns your eyes towards a game that
Of
maybe I would
course.
have decided to play
Of course.
football, right? I ended up being really fast. Maybe I would have wanted to be a receiver. Who knows? There's nothing wrong with me looking at my dad and saying, oh, this is what he does. Then I want to do that, right? But at the same time, once you get to a point, and I think you've probably seen it firsthand, when you go to these little league games and you
Oh,
go
yeah.
watch how the parents are at these games, they genuinely think what is said to their kids at these youth baseball games or youth sporting events is legitimately going to be the separator between where they go,
Thank
and
you.
they're going to be the
Thank you.
next Trey
Thank you.
Turner or Bryce
Right.
Harper. You will not be. The chances of you being those people, the chances of you being a Manny Ramirez, a Gary Sheffield, a Pedro Martinez are essentially zero. And there's
You're at
nothing
point, you're
wrong with that.
0.5%. Right. Right.
So just let it play out.
Right.
And down the road, when you're a junior or senior in high school, scouts are going to tell you there's something special about your son or daughter. And here's what we're planning on doing about it. And you handle it then. But don't treat it like you're at a scout combine, the NFL combine, when your kid's 11. Just enjoy it. Pop a chair down, maybe get a camera and record the event and show your family. That's really all it should be. Just enjoy yourself.
Gee, it's gotten so bad.
I'm not where you are just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't seen, obviously, I've seen the youth sports. I went through it, but no, we're
Yeah.
not there
Yeah.
yet.
But even you going through it, it was never at the level it's at now. When I was
Yeah.
young, right? Travel sports were like, okay, we'd play locally and it was like for the next level. But if you were a good player, I was a
Yeah.
good player, you'd play in the
Mhm.
All-Star game. It was just really that simple. To
Right.
get noticed, you'd almost have to be right place, right time, or a friend of a friend knew you, or something like that. Now they put these kids on showcases, right? And you're
Yeah.
going perfect game or whatever it is. Now, does it work? Yes, right? But more often than not, it doesn't work. It burns the kid out. You do
Right.
have your rare exceptions that get noted. I mean, we just had a kid locally here in Buffalo. His name is Matty Barr. Kid's lights out. He got drafted by the Twins. He's 6'6", throws 99. I mean, he's that guy, right? Like it didn't matter where he would be or whatever, he would have gotten noticed. I know his parents pretty well. They're pretty chill people, right? They manage the expectations. They let him kind of do his own thing. Now, in
Right.
that same sentence where I'm at these games, if I'm coaching, I can hear behind the parents basically, regardless of what the coach is saying, the parents are going to tell them something different. Like, I'm preaching to these 9-year-olds, whatever you do, don't throw the ball as a catcher to second base. Just don't do it. You don't have
Yeah.
the arm yet. You're not going to gun him out, G. You're not going to gun him out. And it's just going to score the run that's sitting on third base, right? These kids want to impress dad who's behind, and the dad wants him to show off his arm. The kid might have the best arm in the world, but the problem is the second baseman's going to drop the ball and the run's going to score. So you want
Your
to
dad could be Johnny Bench, and regardless of who your dad is or how much knowledge he has, there's just no benefit to overriding the experience of just learning how to be coachable. I think
having
that's the
fun.
biggest problem. You're supposed to be able, someone's dad took the time to say, hey, I'll coach the team.
Yep, for free.
Thank you for doing that.
For
For
free.
free. They're doing it for free, spending all their weekends hitting your kids' ground balls,
Yep.
hitting the ball into the gap, working on cutoffs. All you're supposed to be there for is to teach your son how to listen to instruction. And a lot of that instruction is going to be hogwash. So
Yep.
what? It
Exactly.
doesn't matter because you may be taught something that's the wrong mechanic when you were 9. You think Trey Turner or Bryce Harper or any of these players weren't given the worst advice ever? Oh, what you should do is swing straight down on the ball. Oh, what you should do is swing straight up on the ball.
Golf at the ball.
Right. All of those players in the history of the game, especially in the era. I mean, you said you were 47, right?
Yeah, right.
Especially in the era when you were 10, 12 years old watching baseball.
Yeah.
Do you know how many of those players in that era that were in the big leagues at that time were just given instruction that made no sense before social media?
Totally. Yeah.
And it's like way before we had Twitter or like Instagram to learn all these new drills. None of that stuff that your volunteer coach is going to say to you is going to change your path. So
Right.
just learn how to listen to the instruction and be a good teammate. And then later on, when you're actually good at this and you're a grown man now, right? You're 17, you're
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
closer to
yeah.
17, 18. Now you have the actual mental capacity to listen to the smart people. And then now you use that to go become a professional. But I think dad thinks that it's this new time to go out there and redo everything. It's not. Just be a dad.
I tell my boys what to take out of it, obviously, is to be super respectful, right?
Yeah.
So always look your coach in the eye. And
Mhm.
even if you don't like him or you don't agree with what he says,
Right.
that's what I want them to get from it. I want them to learn respect. You nailed it.
Right.
Most of these coaches are knuckleheads that are just going to tell him things that they saw on some tutorial or something, right? I mean,
Sure.
I had Tony Gwynn's son on a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah.
that you got now. If you got your dad as Tony Gwynn, all right, we're talking things a little different, right? In my opinion, the best
Yeah.
hit, he wrote best hitters ever. So that's a little different, right? But the average dad that's going out and doing it, like you said it best, man, it's most of it, even including myself who coaches. I know that not everything I'm telling these kids is up to standards, right? Of MLB, whatever.
Right. Not everyone's perfect. Right.
But I always, man, like I say, I'll take a bad news bears type of kids, barely play whatever, and at the end of the year, if we win one game or two games, then that's my goal, and I want us to have fun doing it.
Right.
Mike Golick gave me the best advice. He said, I can give you a little advice, Donovan. He said, when you go to these games, right, hockey, whatever it is, when you're standing at, he said, and people, you're going to get alienated for this, and people will start to talk about, you're arrogant or this and that. But he said, stand away from everybody. Just find a little spot. Go find your little chair, right? Find a spot that's good for you, whether it's you and your wife or if you're by yourself, and watch your child play, right? Stay away from all the hen house and everybody talking and yelling at the refs and everything else. Your child just wants you to be there. Like me, my parents were never there for me when I was young, right? Like I'd ride
Right.
bike to my little league games, and it sucked, Gary. Like
Yeah.
I would look and I'd be missing him in the stands. He nailed that. Like he hit that right on the head. And then now I go and I do that. And I watch Deacon as my oldest son, and I watch him play hockey. And I just like, he'll turn around once in a while, see where I'm, see that spot, see that I'm there, give me a little wink or something, to let me know. And it's just heartwarming. It's really an amazing,
Yeah.
you know?
That is really cool. It actually really reminds me of a personal story because obviously I wasn't raised with my dad, right? And so
Right.
he's across the country you're playing for the Yankees or you're playing for the Dodgers, you're playing for the Mets and all these you're in a different city
Right.
and I see you twice a year. Okay,
Right.
well, and then same with my mom. Well, my mom's got to work a job. So
Yeah.
if I'm going and playing in a tournament, I remember, and this isn't even when I was a kid. I mean, I was in college, right?
Yeah.
I'm playing in an Arizona summer baseball league, and
Okay.
I'm not expecting anyone to be there, right? I'm just expecting some of my buddies who I play on some college baseball teams, they're with me. And I show up, and again, not expecting my mom to be there. I went 0 for 4, I think, with 3 strikeouts, and I played great the whole summer league. That was like the worst game I ever played, right? And I come home, and my mom says, "Hey, how'd the game go?" And I said, "Oh, it went fine." And she said, "Well, I mean, I was there. It didn't seem like it went that great." And I was like, "You were there?" And she goes, "Yeah, I was there." And I remember thinking, "Wow, this is so embarrassing." And she said, "You don't need to lie. It's fine. I support whatever's happening and I know you're good." And I just remember that was the most memorable life
Exactly.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the most memorable life moment I've ever had when it came to doing what I'm doing. So now when I'm in this media space, I always feel like as long as my mom is alive, she's watching.
That's
You know
very,
what I mean? So
yeah.
like that's the way I see it. And I think it's super important that some parents would be like, "Oh, I don't need to go to that practice because that coach is a moron. He doesn't know anything." It's like, no, like kind of what you were saying. You just sitting there on the bleachers and saying nothing and spending 2.5 hours watching your son condition or throw cutoff, like doing all these things, it's super important to your kid because he's more than likely not going to be doing this
And you know what?
15 years from now, but he'll remember you.
I did want to ask you, because you just hit on something else too. And you said, you rarely saw your dad, and raised in your mother's household, I would assume,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And he's out on the road and this. How was your relationship with your dad, through the playing years? Because you're 31 now, and obviously he's got to be in his upper 50s, I would guess.
Yeah, yeah, he's about 57, which is it's
Okay.
crazy to say because I mean everyone used to be like, "Oh, you're," because I mean when I'm at the game, "Oh, he's old, he's old." They don't know who I am or
Yeah.
the relation, but
Yeah.
40 years old is old in sports, right?
Right.
And
Right.
Kershaw is a geezer in sports terms.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird, right? It's a
Yeah.
weird profession.
Yeah.
But my relation with my dad and just that relationship, it's weird because I think with a lot of player sons, and this goes for all athletes' kids, especially when you're busy, you're on the road, whether it be with the kids or the wife, you just don't see that person full time. Like even somebody who's supposed to be really close to you, like a wife, what they see you half of the year, right? And then you're retired, and now suddenly you have more time than any person in the world. And you didn't, I don't know how relationships go for most people out there in the world, but you typically aren't that close with people you rarely see. So that's the work of it, is just trying to figure out how do you now reacclimate somebody into your life
Totally.
when they officially were so busy. Sure, it's strange for everybody.
And you know what?
So that's been the working progress.
As you're saying it, I'm almost thinking too, like a military household, right? I mean, say your dad's
Exactly.
over and he does a couple tours, like that could be a similar situation. Your dad keeps going overseas and it's tough for kids, and now that and that had to be tough for you, man, not without getting too emotional or anything. That had to be really tough
Yeah.
for you. I mean, I lost
No, it
my
definitely
real
is.
dad when I was 16 years old. I lost him and I had,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, no, I appreciate that. We all deal with our own little, our own personal traumas and our own little, whatever you want to call them, right? Trials, and
Right.
those fires, man, to use all these cliches, and that's, you burn through the coals, whatever, you get stronger and you just do. You have manifested things for yourself and said, this is where I'm going to be, boom, 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 right? And you're making it happen. So again, I'll say, man, that's impressive to see, because I like your confidence. I like you saying, yes, of course, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm going to manifest that if I do want to do individual shows, then that's what I'm going to do next, right? You tell yourself
Right.
you can do something, you see it in the future, man. If you're a strong-minded person and you're smart, it'll get done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just try to put positive affirmation out there, because I think especially now with social media, there's enough negativity. It's not like I was out here just saying whatever I wanted, but I think being able to manage, not, shouldn't say burning the bridges, but maybe hitting the single up the middle, right?
I
And
know
just
exactly what you're saying.
keeping both sides of the playing field, open and available to me, because now it feels like I'm in a way repairing it just by doing my job and just
Yeah, but
doing
you know what?
what I'm
Don't
passionate
look
about,
at
but
it.
it's all
Don't
good.
look at it like that, man. Honestly, like I've seen enough of you and read enough. Don't look at it like that at all. I think if you let that get into your head, dude, that'll eat you alive. And you're not the type of person that should even let that affect them at all. You're way too strong. Listen, I've looked at, since I've started this show, and another my wife owns a real estate company, and
Oh, really? Wow.
yeah, and I have another little business as well. But like the jealousy that goes on when people try to make themselves more successful is disturbing as a society. I am the
It
type of
is pretty
person
wild.
I'm the type of person, I'm going to root you on. I'm going to say, dude, I
Yeah.
hope Gary has 10.5 million subscribers. He seems like a great guy, probably a good dad, family man, whatever, right? I want to see this dude succeed, because we need more strong-minded, successful people in this world doing things the right way. That's how I would
Right.
analyze. But I think I'm becoming the minority. I think that people almost want to see other people fail, or since it's not them, it's jealousy. And I've thinned my herd recently, man. I'm thinning the herd because, like, I don't need you if you're not going to be supportive and you just have nothing but negative things to say, or like, this guy thinks he's this or this, right? Then, I don't need you. I don't need you
I
around.
noticed the people that are doing what I want to do have a lot positive to say. I will say that. So that's been really encouraging about it, is that I've noticed really all the negativity almost exclusively is coming from people who are just refusing to move. Right? They're, oh, it's
Yeah.
the platform. Oh, that you have this platform because such and such. I obviously I'm still, I don't engage in the negativity, but I mean, all I can do is encourage people to try what they want to do.
Don't sweat it. Keep being you. Keep manifesting the future, man. And there's nothing but good things in your future. I can tell you that. Old wise
Thank you.
man that I am at 47, I can
Yeah.
tell you that
Yeah,
it's
you're
definitely
old in
good.
baseball terms. That's true.
For sure, for sure. Yeah. Couple fun questions, man. Favorite ice
Yeah.
cream? What's your go-to ice cream?
Man, I'm boring. I'm Baskin Robbins with a ton of sprinkles, right? Rainbow sprinkles, just
Okay.
pile them on.
All right. You're not
Yeah.
going with any hot fudge, no peanut butter syrup, nothing like that. You just want the sprinkles.
No, no, absolutely not. No, I think I was always the chicken tender kid, right? Chicken tenders, vanilla. Yeah, my mom didn't do the best job. She
Yeah.
wasn't very
Yeah.
imposing,
Yeah.
right? She wasn't. She didn't make me try the onions. It was the
Yeah, yeah,
tomatoes. We could
yeah.
just pick those all. You could take them
That's
all.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I ended up with vanilla.
You're my 5-year-old. You have the same palate as my 5-year-old. Listen, I'm going and taking scoops and I'm taking his tenders and dipping them right in the ketchup. So it's okay, you know?
Right. And my wife now is Guatemalan and Mexican. So now
Okay.
the onions are in the
How's
dishes and I'm
she
trying
cook?
other
Is she a
ice
good
cream.
cook?
She's a great cook. Yeah, she's got me in Italy, like all these different places that I would have never gone to, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's definitely good for you.
How about in the same token then? You order a pizza. How about we're in Buffalo, so you're over,
Yeah.
we're hanging out, we're chilling. We order pizza and wings. I'm letting you pick. How we doing both?
So I used to be, man, I was strong on this opinion before. I used to say, give me, I like a dry rub, like a Cajun dry rub,
Okay.
but I only wanted flats. Now I've changed that tune. Still want the dry rub, only drums.
Dude, I'm an
The
only drum
drums are
guy.
yeah, they're much easier to dip. I'm a ranch guy, so there are a lot of people with the blue cheese.
Friends we were going to be, and then you said,
Yeah, no, I completely understand it. There are a lot of people they go get the martini with the what is it? Blue cheese. I'm
blue
like,
cheese.
what are they talking about?
It's got
But
to be the right blue cheese. So Buffalo is known
okay.
for their blue cheese. There's I'll get some out to you. I'm gonna get your address anyway to send you out some little bit of swag, a t-shirt or something.
Oh, I
There's a
appreciate
couple,
that.
yeah, there's a couple that are out there, and I've sent them to some guests, and I've
Okay.
literally changed their opinions on the stuff. I like ranch.
Okay.
I like ranch, but when you're talking pizza and blue cheese, man, it's just got to be done right. So we'll see if it changes your opinion. You know what I was going to ask you?
What's
What's
up?
your relationship with Doc? With Dwight?
Oh, so he is he's my dad's mom's brother. So
Dad.
he's like my great
Okay.
uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you ever
we
see
just
him
call
like
him
growing up or
Uncle
anything?
Dwight. Yeah, saw him all the time. I mean, he's one of the nicest guys ever.
Yeah.
He just is. Yeah, anyone who's been in the room with him, he's just the biggest giver ever. He'll give you the shirt off his back. That's the type of guy he is. And it was actually really funny because when I told my wife, anytime we go to New York, we stay with them, and
Okay.
he's outside the city. And I said, "Hey, I don't know if I told you this, but Dwight is very famous." And she was like, "Well, it's fine because your dad or whatever." And she was like, "But your uncle also?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, he's like next level. Like my dad can walk through New York and maybe a couple people will say something. It's New York. We can't go anywhere in New York with Dwight and have people not say anything." She was like, "People are going to think he's famous." And I said, "Yes." And so we went out to Peter Luger, this steakhouse
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Brooklyn, and we sit down and she's like, "I thought you said people were going to say something." I said, "Yeah, they normally would by now." So it kind of made my story seem hyped up. And all of a sudden, Dwight says, "Hey, Gary, we need to grab a photo." And so he knew the people there. He told
Yeah.
the valet, he's like, "Hey, would you guys mind taking our family photo?" They said, "Of course, Dwight." And they take the photo. The second our flash went off, the entire room looked up and all stood up at once. And there were 50 people lined up at
Uh,
this steakhouse. Like, and all of a sudden, my wife's like, "Oh, I see what you're talking about now."
how does he look? I mean, is he doing pretty good? Is he?
Yeah, no, he's doing good. Obviously it's a battle, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just
of course,
is. It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
what
We all
comes into
deal
the
with it.
territory of it, right? And he has his ups and downs. Nobody I'm rooting for more. Nobody.
Are you involved with a lot of the baseball? You know, the winter meeting, a lot of the baseball stuff. Do
I'm
you?
trying to this year. I'm trying to get. We're gonna send the email out. You have to get all the stuff beginning
Credentials
in
stuff.
November, and we'll send that out. Hopefully, Major League Baseball they allow us to go into the lobby would be great, and then we'll do all that coverage. But who knows, right? We'll see.
This was so much fun, man. This was honestly one of my
Yeah.
favorite interviews. It really was because we got to talk so much about similar things that we're doing, and I'm really, really excited to see where all this goes for you, man. And
Thank you. I
you as a
appreciate it.
fan, I subscribed to all your stuff today, and it's stuff. I don't
Thank
know
you.
if I'm going to be watching those 2 hour ones. I'll be honest.
No, I don't blame you. Eventually, as the show gets bigger, we'll have to hire some people to splice some things up. So you're a diehard Bills guy, right?
I'm a Bills guy, yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry about the loss. My Eagles also lost.
They did.
Really bad week for us. Yeah, it was a
I,
tough week.
I was, I see the Barkley in the background there. He's not having a typical Barkley season. It's been a
No.
good season, hasn't it? Like the Bills last night. Josh is our motor. He's our engine. And right from the jump, he just didn't seem right. There was something going on, and I said right away, I'm like, we're not gonna, this doesn't look good. But New England looked pretty good, didn't they?
They did look really good. I mean, what's funny about it, I didn't think Drake May would be good at all. I didn't expect that, but I mean, obviously you can be proven wrong. And it's good. It's good to see New England do something, right? It's been a while. It's been a minute. So
As
Yeah,
long as
tough to
Belichick.
happen against the Bills.
This was great. Seriously, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was awesome. It was a really good.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. Yeah, anytime you need me.
We'll stay in touch.
Sounds good, man.
Thanks, man. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night. All right, take
You
care.
too.